I am in Atlanta, Georgia for Toylanta. It's my first time at this convention. I've heard great things about it over the years, so I'm really excited to be here. I'm at the show as a guest, which means I'm here to sell some books, interact with some fans of my content, but I'm also going to do a little bit of toy hunting while I'm here. So setup is going on for the show right now, which is always kind of fun to see a ballroom in a hotel like this get transformed into a place where many treasures will be found. So I'm getting my stuff all organized here, but there's a few things for this weekend that I want to do a little bit differently that I don't typically do on my toy hunts. For one, I actually brought some trade fodder today. And I'm one of those guys, like, I've never been good at, like, trading my stuff off or selling my stuff off. I don't know why. It's just not, I'm not good at that side of things. But you guys might remember just not too long ago, I bought a big bag of accessories for my vintage Eternia playset. And I ended up having a few leftover parts from that. So my thought is, somebody's gonna need these pieces. I can probably sell them to make a little bit of my money back on that purchase, or possibly trade them, and maybe I can get some more pieces that I need for my Eternia, even if I'm like trading now to get those down the road somewhere. So that is one of the things we're gonna see about this weekend. The other thing I kind of want to do is have some goals of things that I'm looking for. And honestly, I don't like to do that a lot. You know, I like my toy hunts to be a let's see what I can find and let's see what stands out to me, because to me that's more exciting. But maybe to you guys, you would rather see me accomplish certain goals. Now, you know there's a few things that I'm hunting for, Ronin Warrior, stuff like that. But I think today there's a couple things specifically I'm gonna try to see if I can find this weekend, with this being a big toy show. Number one, I'm hoping to find Metal Mutants Michelangelo from the vintage team at T-Line. He's the only one I need to complete my loose Metal Mutants figures. He's gonna be a hard one to find, but maybe I'll get lucky and he'll be out here somewhere. Number two, Toylanta is well known for its G.I. Joe, because this used to be Joe-Lanta. It used to be G.I. Joe themed. So I think we're still gonna see a lot of G.I. Joe stuff here. And lately I've really been into some Joes, including that Ninja Force Zartan that I missed. If I can find a good Ninja Force Zartan this weekend, carded I think would be best, but even if he's complete and loose and nice, I would love to bring home a Ninja Force Zartan. So, let's see what happens. Let's see what the weekend holds. I might end up with none of those things. I might find other things. Time will tell. I know I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited to watch. All right, so setup is happening. It's time to get over and get my table all ready to go, because doors are gonna be opening up for the early birds for this Friday night short time frame, so gotta be ready to go. I'm gonna show you this right here is one of the challenges. Setting up for the show, getting all the books out here. They all come shrink wrapped. We try to open them, get them pre-opened before everybody gets here, because that way they're just ready to go. They're ready to grab and sign. But really, I want to take this moment to like tell you guys how much easier this is when Christina is here with me. She is an absolute blessing. She is a workhorse for this brand, and I miss her when she's not here. Get yourself a Christina on your team. You all need somebody like her. She's amazing. Love you, Stina. So let's peek around a little bit before things really get going for the Toylanta weekend, because I'm seeing all these booths getting set up and I want to find some cool toys. Now, this very first booth that I walk up to has got an incredible mixture of vintage goodness. I mean, check out these carded 90s Stretch Armstrong figures. This particular Stretch Armstrong is the one we had in my household as a kid, but these are the smaller ones, and there's some really cool ones here, including his dog, Fetch Armstrong. Look at the BC biker. Oh my god. That's so good. Oh, the Alien vs. Predator 2-pack. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, guys. Sweet secrets.
Luckily, it's just a watch. I don't think I have a need for a Sweet Secrets watch today. What is... Okay, so I remember the glowworms, but I definitely don't remember Mini Glow Kids. This has got to be a knockoff, right? Man, they'll just knock off anything. All these 90s Spider-Man figures. Oh, I love this Venom. Always loved the size of that Kingpin. So cool. Ooh, yeah, Spider-Sense Spider-Man. That's a good one. Peter Parker and Civilian Wolverine. Why wouldn't they just call him Logan? I guess so you knew. That's Wolverine. They assume you already know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but they need you to know that this is Wolverine.
One thing I'm really noticing already about this show is that the variety is incredible. I mean, there's so much stuff representing all these different eras. I love to see it.
So one thing that's insane is this show has got vendors all over the place in this hotel. So like there's another vendor room over here, there's another vendor room over there. So you got to watch for these signs because you don't want to miss anything here at Toylanta. There's so much going on. Look, there's a vendor room over here and another one here. Amazing.
All right, so I'm gonna start browsing these G.I. Joes because I already see some Ninja Force figures. I've gotta find that Zartan. And unfortunately, this particular booth doesn't have him. So I'm gonna keep looking, but man, I love these card backs. I really, really do. And oh man, Shadow Ninjas? Yeah, I'm way into these too. Probably gonna have to add these to my list at some point. It's gonna be hard to resist them. So I come across this booth called Retro Toy Quest, and I'm really blown away. Essentially, what he is doing is he's recreating a toy catalog feel for many different vintage toy lines. He's creating these incredible prints that show off a selection of usually around the first wave of these action figures from a variety of classic toy lines. I actually spent a lot of time over there talking about his process and hearing about how he does photograph every single toy, all from his own personal collection, and then he assembles these amazing prints, which is meant to kind of resemble that feeling of when you're flipping through the old Sears catalogs. If you're my age, you definitely remember how cool it was to see these amazing layouts in those old catalogs. So he's got these incredible prints here, and he's also got this all collected on Instagram. I'm gonna link to this in the video description because I really do think you guys should check this out. I think you'll get a real kick out of it. And as somebody who myself is loving to document these old toys with stuff like the Masters of the Universe book I put out, I love seeing stuff like this. So I did grab a few of those prints myself, and I absolutely love them. I've got some of them like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. I love the layouts, how the bottom part of the print here just showcases all of those first figures that were released, but then we've got this amazing diorama scene at the top. It's amazing. I also grabbed a print for Superpowers. For Dungeons and Dragons, I loved this one, couldn't pass it up. And of course, Masters of the Universe, which features that original 1982 line. Seriously cool stuff. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. I was really glad to run into this at the show.
Behold, the Pixeldan booth space. I don't show this a lot in my videos, so, you know, I've got the toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I've got my Pixeldan enamel pins, which I typically only sell these at shows. Then I always have free stickers to give away. They are so shiny. People love that. I got a couple prints, including the Matt Cardona versus Spencer Powers print, the banner, so that everybody knows they found the right place. And then, of course, I'm sharing space with my buddy Brett, who is just surrounding me with all these toys that everybody's going to be asking me to buy all weekend, and they're not mine to sell. But it looks great. It's a really cool setup, so I'm very excited. The doors are about to open. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Brett is always got an amazing booth at many conventions that I go to, and since he's like set up in my same booth space, he's got this amazing selection of Masters of the Universe, ranging from vintage to classics. There's all these amazing vintage Princess of Power stuff that's like right behind me all weekend, so I wanted to showcase some of it here in this video. I mean, seriously, this stuff was just right behind me all weekend long. You have no idea how tempted I was to just scoop all this up. It's awesome. By the way, huge shout out to Brett. He works at Toylanta and he helped set this whole thing up for me, and he was an amazing host for this weekend. He really took care of me, so massive thanks to Brett. And on top of all of that, when I got back to my table right as we were about to open up for preview night, I found this sitting there. Brett had actually bought me a loose Ninja Force Zartan because he knew that it's something that I was hunting for. Man, totally something he didn't have to do. I was blown away by this gesture, and that's awesome because now I can knock Ninja Force Zartan off my list. What a great way to start the weekend. You're the man, Brett. Thank you. So preview night was a lot of fun. Very short though, only a couple hours, but it was still a really great kickoff to the weekend. But one of the things I want to talk about with Toylanta is that it sort of goes nonstop all weekend long. They do a lobby swap where several vendors or even people who don't already have tables at the show can come into the hotel lobby and set things up for sale. So everybody just kind of gathers around and hangs out. People have some drinks, people get some food. They just walk around, they shop, they just have fun, talk about toys. So I definitely wanted to hit the lobby swap up that night after this just to see what was going on. And of course, the first thing I stumble upon are these amazingly awful Masters of the Universe bootlegs. These are huge, like really, really big, and they're not great looking. They're so heavy, and the paint, I don't know about that paint. I do think it's hilarious how Orko is packaged with Skeletor. Something about that really cracks me up. But I love silly stuff like this. And these particular bootlegs were gifted to me by my friends over at Toy Busters. I've met these folks before. They're very, very nice. They set up at shows like this, but they also have a physical store location. And they have a Facebook page where they do all auctions and all kinds of stuff like that. So just as a thank you for gifting me these amazing Motu bootlegs, I'm going to link to Toy Busters in the video description below. Definitely check them out. Like I said, physical location. Maybe it's somewhere I need to go at some point too to do a little toy hunting. There's these awesome Kenner Beetlejuice figures. Always love seeing stuff like this. And then I find this Skull Fighter set. This is incredible. So this is certainly some sort of knockoff that looks to be inspired by the old Skeleton Warriors line, which is a line that I adore. But I love that this has got like a mask with it, but then also just these really cool looking minifigures, and the overall card back looks really, really great. So this is awesome. It's just one of those cool things I love to see. I didn't pick it up, but I was tempted by it. I thought it was that cool. Oh, we got a box full of Hasbro WWF figures. I've really been into picking these up lately. If you've been watching my toy hunts, you already know that my youngest son has really gotten into playing with wrestling figures, and those are like so perfect. So we've been playing those together a lot. So when I find these cheap, I pick them up. I'm gonna scoop some of these up here tonight. All right, that is day one down. It was a really fun start, but it was just a taste. We got a whole weekend to go. Day 2 of Toylanta. Actually, Friday was just like a preview night, so we were open for a couple hours, but it was a good couple hours. But now it's the morning, the early birds are here. We're like 15 minutes away from like everybody rushing in. I want to look at some toys real quick, so let's see what's out here. Last Action Hero. Ha! Man, I gotta be honest, I'm actually debating this Undercover Slater figure. It looks hilarious in all the right kind of ways for a toy. But even more exciting are these boxed vehicles. Slater's Corvette and the Evil Eye Roadster. I don't see these very often. And I do already have the Corvette loose at home, but seeing them boxed is awesome. Man. Gargoyles, Cadillacs and dinosaurs, Double Dragon, Bucky O'Hare, Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Seriously, this is some of the awesome stuff that I'm seeing here. All of it boxed. Really cool stuff. There's still plenty of G.I. Joe at Toylanta. In fact, quite a bit of it. And there's a lot from the 12-inch era, you know, like original era G.I. Joe from back in the 60s. And this is stuff that I personally am not overly familiar with. I mean, it's before my era, but I think that's one of the things that I like about shows like this is I do like seeing this toy history. Even if it's not something I'm actively collecting, it's really cool just to see what's out there, what's available, and kind of see what other people are getting excited about. Just toy history and toy hunting, all of this stuff is really, really fun to me. There's also a lot of Mego at the show, which is really cool to see, and I even spy some Major Matt Mason stuff in here, which even though that's before my time, I do have a few of these at home. It's actually a line that I really enjoy. Oh, and of course there is a ton of a real American hero era of G.I. Joe. It is all over the place. So I'm already over here at a booth, I'm browsing through all the carded figures, and what do I spy? A carded Ninja Force Zartan.
Ninja Force! The Joes lose again, Scarlet!
You're the one that just rolled Snake Eyes.
It's the G.I. Joe Ninja Force with real ninja moves. Here's Snake Eyes on the Ninja Lightning with thunder missiles and zip strip speed. And now Joe and Cobra Ninja Raiders Ginsu and Red Ninja spring into action in their own fast attack vehicles with a Ninja Surprise. Joe and Cobra Ninja Raiders come with exclusive figures. G.I. Joe Ninja Lightning and Ninja figures sold separately. We need that gold to build our ultimate weapon.
Tough break.
Now look, I know that Brett already got me a loose one, and I love it, and I really appreciate it, but the price is right on this carded one. And I keep talking about how I love these card backs. So you know what? Why not? I'm gonna do it. I am gonna buy a carded Ninja Force Zartan, and now I'll have a carded one and a loose one, and I will be happy to own both. So double check on one of my goals for this show. Wait, what is this? Reptile weapons? Oh, I love bootleg stuff like this, especially when they really go out of their way to make it look like an official item. Like this looks like it could have come out of the Ninja Turtles toy line, but it's totally bootleg. And oh my gosh, are you kidding me? A butterfly knife? Yeah, my favorite Ninja Turtle is the one that uses a butterfly knife as his signature weapon. This is so ridiculous, and the card back is so amazing. I am buying this. It's coming home with me. There's some fun loose bins to dig in, lots of cool little minifigures. I always like kind of scouring through these just to see if anything stands out to me. But there's some other really great weirdos at this particular booth, including this guy right here, Troll Force. This is one of those weirdo toy lines that I absolutely love. Funny thing is I actually bought a lot of these when I was younger. I remember them specifically being at dollar stores. And if you've never seen these before, they're essentially like He-Man or Remco style bodies with straight up troll heads on them. They are ridiculous, but I'm gonna say it again, in all the best ways. It's totally a Pixel Dan style toy line. This Metal Man here is one that I don't have in my personal collection, so this is probably gonna be coming home with me after the end of this weekend. This Mattel Aladdin stuff is awesome. It's a line that I'm a true sucker for. It was probably my favorite animated Disney film from when I was younger, and I do really like the Mattel toys, so every time I see these, I always look at them, and I'm always a little tempted to grab a few pieces. But also, I love seeing all of this 90s X-Men stuff. Like, there's some really cool stuff going on here, and not just the figures, like all kinds of weird merchandise. Like, somebody was clearly a huge X-Men fan, and this is like a whole collection that's being sold. This Wolverine roleplay set right here, let me tell you how bad I wanted that as a kid. Look, Wolverine was very important to me, right? He was big time in the 90s for many of us. I loved Wolverine, and I wanted toy claws so bad as a kid, and this roleplay set was like as close as you could get to it back then. I never did get that, so when I see things like this now, you always have that thing going on where you're like, that's something I always wanted as a kid and I never had. I feel like I should rectify this. I didn't, but I'm not gonna tell you I wasn't tempted to. My pals from Four Horsemen Toy Design are also here at Toylanta this weekend. They've got an amazing amount of Mythic Legions figures that they're unloading at the show, but they also have some early test shots for Cosmic Legions, which I got to take a look at in hand. Man, these things are gorgeous. They are massive. I cannot wait to actually get these in hand. I've already got them pre-ordered. Very cool stuff. If you're not already familiar with Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions, do yourself a favor and check these out. Really cool toys. So all throughout the day at my booth, I had a lot of really incredible interactions, and I want to highlight some of the cool gifts that I was giving while at the show. First of all, I want to give a shout out to both Benjamin and Shelby for gifting me this amazing children's book, The Explorables, a book that they wrote and photographed all of these toys for inside the book. Really cool stuff. I love seeing things like this, and my kids are absolutely going to love this. Really awesome. And then shout out to one of my Patreon supporters, Andy, because he gifted me this copy of Tales from the Rancor Pit, a Star Wars graphic novel that he worked on. Boom, his name is right there. Very cool stuff. Congratulations, Andy. I love seeing stuff like this, and I'm really honored to have a copy of this. Can't wait to dig into it. I was gifted some really amazing loose figures throughout the weekend. Got stuff like these awesome Power Rangers knockoffs and some Batman figures. Oh, and fun thing about these Power Rangers knockoffs, I actually had some of the others of this particular style at home. So look, I'm assembling a team of these. Oh, I love it. I got to get the rest of them now. And I got this amazing carded knockoff Hulk Hogan figure, which is incredible. The card back art is awesome. You know how I know this isn't really Hulk Hogan? Because he's losing on that card back. There's no way Hogan would allow that on his merch, right? Doesn't work for me, brother. And an amazing gift that I was giving was this really fun custom that needs a little bit of an explanation. You see, a few years ago, when I was filming a toy hunt video at RetroCon, I came across these amazing bootleg Masters of the Universe stickers. I believe they originated in Argentina or somewhere, but they're hilarious because the colors of the characters are outrageous and the names are even more outrageous. Well, this particular viewer gave me a custom Skeletor Origins figure inspired by those outrageous stickers. So this is my first ever official figure of Boneface, this hilarious colored Skeletor that is straight off of those awesome bootleg stickers that I found. I love this. This is incredible. So he explained to me that, he watched a lot of toy hunt videos, specifically during a lot of the lockdowns in the pandemic. And, the story he told was basically that watching stuff like that kind of made things feel normal. And I really appreciated hearing that. Like, I just love hearing that stuff like this is enjoyed by people and can kind of help us, through some of those harder times. And, because I know it's the same way for me. When we were unable to get out there and do stuff like this, like I just longed for it. I missed it so much. And I really appreciate having these opportunities to go out and travel around and see so many cool places and go to all these shows. So, being given this figure that was inspired by something like that is really special to me. And it's something that I truly appreciate. Oh, and my friends from Simple Tricks and Nonsense are here, John and Rebecca, which have some of the most amazing cosplay I've ever seen, and they're really cool people also. I actually got to spend a lot of time with them over the course of the weekend, but wanted to give them a shout out as well. Definitely go check them out if you're into the cosplay stuff, because what they're doing is like next level cool. Okay, really long day there. But we're finally rolling into the final day of the show. Let's go hunting. So I come across this huge box filled with Mighty Max Playsets. Oh man, if you guys have been watching, you know I've really been into these micro playsets lately. And of course, Mighty Max is sort of like the king of these micro playsets. There are some really cool ones in here, some that I've never seen before. It's worth noting they're all loose, but it does appear they are all complete. It does note if they're missing any pieces on these bags, but the prices, they're up there. And I'm not faulting the people selling these by any means, because Mighty Max stuff is usually not cheap when it's complete. So while these look amazing, and I'd love to add some of these to my collection, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pass on them this time. A bag of Ben 10 figures? You know how my kid Spencer loves some Ben 10. I'm definitely gonna ask about this bag. The Lord of Darkness figure is so rad. It's one of those figures that I've always kind of thought about picking up over the years. If you're not familiar with this, it's essentially like the very first knockoff Darth Vader figure from like way back when the movies first came out. This figure came out just to capitalize on the success of Star Wars. So I love the history behind it, and it's a pretty cool looking toy. Street Sharks, oh man, always love seeing these. I still haven't gone in on collecting anything from Street Sharks really yet, but maybe one day. Oh, and a Food Fighters barbecue bomber in the box. Always love finding Food Fighter stuff out in the wild. Little Kittles, huh, never heard of these. Always interested in running into something weird that I didn't know existed. Oh, and of course we got the Britney Spears dolls, pretty sweet. Oh my, Dance with the Wind Superman? Amazing. Look guys, the DC movie universe is getting weird. No, this is a total bootleg. Oh my god, it is hilarious. This is one of those things that's so outrageous that like I really have to stop myself from buying stuff like this because I laugh and I love it and I think it's so cool, but every time I buy these things I come home and I'm like, what do I do with this now? And sometimes they're great for like hanging on the wall in the studio and stuff, but I'm gonna leave this one. But I love it. It's hilarious. Oh, we saw some Mighty Max. Looks like we got some Polly Pockets here too. Although I'm looking through all of these and the prices are low, and it appears to be because most of these are missing their figures. So yeah, that's no good. I don't need any of these. Okay, so I keep browsing at all the G.I. Joe stuff, and then I find the G.I. Joe Ninja Force Light Wing motorcycle. Oh, wow. So I didn't even consider the fact that the Ninja Force subset would have their own vehicles. And the box is here, but the box is open and like the motorcycle's inside. So now I'm like, oh, it would be really cool to buy this for my loose Ninja Force Zartan. And I know the box shows Snake Eyes is on it, but come on, Ninja Force Zartan's pretty rad, and he would look pretty rad with a motorcycle like this. I think I just added a new thing to my list. Oh, hey, some 2000X era Masters of the Universe, including some of the NECA Staction figures. Definitely something I see less and less of these days. Oh, and then this booth here has got like this huge selection of Toy Biz era Marvel Legends and Spider-Man classics, and I'm just like browsing all of this. I'm getting so nostalgic for that era, remembering how much fun it was when Toy Biz first launched those lines and just how exciting all of that was. And I love me some retro Toy Biz stuff too. I don't think I'm familiar with this Amazing Heroes packaging. I know that there were lots of different card backs like in the late 90s, like way after I was done paying attention to them, but this one's really unique. I've never seen this card back before. I'm gonna do a little bit more bin digging to see what I can find, and what I found was Moth Lady from Galoob's Golden Girl line.
I'm gonna be Golden Girl. Golden Girl. And I'll have a beautiful unicorn named Olympia with magic powers that will help me defeat the Dragon Queen in Shadow any day or night.
Golden Girl and the Guardians of the Gems. Olympia and Chariot, Shadow and Chariot, each sold separately, batteries not included.
This is a line that I do love. It feels very Motu and She-Ra adjacent, and it's something I've been wanting to talk about in its own video one day. I'm gonna grab this Moth Lady. Oh, more G.I. Joes, and I seriously love to see this particular era of Joe because I've mentioned before I didn't have a lot as a kid, but when I did start getting them, this is the era that I started getting them. So this is my Duke. This is my Bat. This is my Destro. Like, these are the ones that I had when I was a kid, and seeing them on card back like this has got me all nostalgic. So I love it. I don't care if you do or not. I love it. And by the way, this booth is from my good friends over at Toy Federation, amazing store in South Carolina that I've visited a few times here on this channel already. They've also got some really great carded Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff here that I'm looking at as well. While there's a lot of really good stuff and some of it a bit obscure, stuff that I don't see very often, unfortunately, I have not been able to find that Metal Mutants Michelangelo, and as we're getting close to the end of Toylanta, I think I'm gonna have to chalk that particular goal up to being a loss this time.
Oh my goodness, it is the very end of a very busy 3-day event here at Toylanta. You can see all the vendors are starting to pack things up. Things are wrapping up. You can tell my voice is not what it was, but it was awesome. I spent most of my time behind my table because it's been, like, the turnout has been amazing. Like, talking to people, you know, selling books, signing books. It was an amazing experience. But I did get to go out and do some toy hunting, so hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed getting the Toylanta experience. Very cool show, and if you're ever in the area, you should definitely check it out.
All right, so with Toylanta being wrapped up, here is my haul. I picked up that baggie of Ben 10 figures for my son Spencer, ended up only paying $20, and I was worried that he might have had a few of these because I recognized at least Wrath in here. Turns out that's the only one he had. There was a bunch of these he didn't have already, so this was a perfect buy for me. I thought $20 was a great price for a whole bag of these. I also picked up a few Hasbro WWF figures for Ryder and for me, of course, too. I picked up Macho, Honky Tonk Man, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I got this awesome Demolition Man figure, and if you're not already aware, the Mattel Demolition Man figures were, in large part, recycled from their New Adventures of He-Man toy line. Like, this particular Sylvester Stallone right here is completely reusing Nocturna's body, all the way down to the little sidekick action feature that he has. So it's awesome. I've got several of these already. I didn't have this particular one loose, so I was pretty happy to add it to my collection. I got this Power Rangers Invenusible Flytrap. Is that how you say that? Invenusible Flytrap? What a weird name. Anyway, I love the baddies from Power Rangers, and finding this guy loose, yeah, why not? Added this guy to this collection. I also got this dark green variant of the Kenner Mantis Alien, which was given to me by my buddy Brett as well. Mantis Alien is my favorite from the Kenner Aliens, and normally they are much lighter green without so much black on there, so this one is a bit darker, and really cool. I'm glad to have this in my collection. I also got my very first Black Major G.I. Joe. If you're not familiar, these are essentially customs, but they're like full production customs. I've seen lots of the Black Major stuff online before. Brett actually tossed this my way because he's like, hey, I know you like the outlandish colors on your G.I. Joe. Check this out. And he's right. I love this. I love it. Got the Alley Viper kind of helmet and everything going on there, but the colors are fantastic. So really cool stuff. Glad I have this. I also got this Starlink figure from Fox Forge Toys, which is really cool stuff. Fox Forge Toys, of course, are an indie company. I believe this is their first run of stuff, at least for this particular line. But this is a really fun little figure. It poses well. It's got a removable helmet. So if you're into this sort of thing, definitely worth checking these guys out. I got those hilarious Motu bootlegs that I showed you guys earlier. Again, shout out to my friends over at Toy Busters. Make sure you guys go check them out. I got that Golden Girl Moth Lady figure, and upon opening the bag, I actually realized that we got two of the little comb accessories, and the little tiara that's in here doesn't go with Moth Lady. It actually goes to the main character, Golden Girl herself. So we got some extra accessories to go along with our Moth Lady there, but still, glad I picked her up. I got that Troll Force Metal Man. Probably gonna leave this carded. I have a few carded ones already hanging on the wall in my studio. I also have a display of loose ones in my glass cases in my studio. It's just such a wacky toy line, but it looks so, all the colors look so great displayed. I got those amazing TMNT knockoff weapons with that butterfly knife. It's so ridiculous. Like I said, that card back, love it. And I got Ninja Force Zartan, a loose version and a carded version, meaning I get to have a big old cross going across one of the bucket list items from these toy hunts. Really glad to knock this guy off the list, and so glad to finally add this guy to my collection. And uh-oh, slippery slope. Looks like I'm buying G.I. Joes now. Oh, and remember those Eternia parts that I mentioned way back at the beginning of the video? Well, don't worry, because I was able to trade those off. And that's a story for a future episode. So Toylanta was an amazing show, really great experience. Shout out to all of the awesome people that I talked to over the course of the weekend, and thank you to Toylanta for having me out. If you guys ever have the opportunity to go to this show, I highly recommend checking it out. As you can see in this video, amazing selection of stuff that can be found there. I want to also give a very special thanks to all of my supporters over on Patreon. Guys, if you're in a position to help the channel grow, head on over there, check it out. You can get your name added to the scrolling text. You can get episodes of Toy Hunting, early access. Yeah, that's right. And it's only $1, so go check it out. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, regardless of how you support the channel, even if it's just by watching the videos. Thank all of you. I appreciate you all. Until next time, my friends.